What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Next Gen Madden 25 video on my PS4, as well as a rare glimpse of NFL 2K5 on my Xbox 360. Please do me a favor, take a moment, hit the like button for me, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Criticism in the comment section, as always, run over to Twitter, give me a follow. My username is Shutdown Safety. Want to talk about the biggest issue in Madden the past few years, the fact that ratings, height, and weight don't really seem to matter. To do that, we're going to pay homage to one of my favorite NFL receivers, T.Y. Hilton. Down in the description, you're going to see two links to scouting reports for him, one from SB Nation, one from Bleacher Report. I'm going to go ahead and read them to you now, and then we're going to see exactly how they translate over into Madden 25. So SB Nation says you don't have to have good height to play wide receiver in the NFL, but it certainly helps. Hilton stands just 5'10", 183 pounds, which is rather small for the position. But fortunately for Hilton, his selling point is that he is an exceptional return man, which should land him a spot on an NFL team regardless of whether or not he's asked to play receiver. Bleacher Report went on to question his size as well, saying his height and weight left a lot to be desired, but it was his strength that was most concerning, that he did not have the ability to break through tackles. So as a GM, just pretending we're a GM for a moment and we read these things, we obviously may feel that if he doesn't have the size to play receiver, we may have to delegate him to a gunner or a returner, but if he doesn't have the strength to break tackles, how effective could he be? Well, the fact of the matter is T.Y. Hilton is emerging as one of the best wide receivers in the league. Last season, when the Colts had a 45-44 comeback in the wild card over the Chiefs, which I'm sure you all watched, you know, T.Y. had 13 receptions, 224 yards, both of which were Colts franchise playoff records. And by the way, we've had some pretty good receivers on our teams in the past, if you aren't familiar with guys like Marvin Harrison or Raymond Berry, and also 2 touchdowns. So certainly, he's able to go and apply himself and play at an NFL level. Now, if we translate this into Madden, first and foremost, at the end of this video, you'll see that I did do this correctly, but there's things that can't be edited here. When we go to the Colts roster, what I've done is I've mimicked T.Y. Hilton's skill set on 2 very different receivers. When we go through here, you'll see that speed, acceleration, agility, majority of these things are the same, but when we're creating players, it doesn't give us the ability to change everything in its entirety. So I can't edit a receiver's throw on the run. I can't edit his throwing accuracy or his throwing power, but for the most part, you know, the critical things are all mimicked here in terms of making these players identical, with the exception of one thing. That would be probably the most important thing to a receiver: height. So when we look at the overall rating, you see T.Y. Hilton, 5'2" here, wearing number 10, is an 87. T.Y. Hilton, 6'5", you know, very Calvin Johnson-esque, wearing number 14, is still an 87. And T.Y. Hilton, 5'9", in his real life, obviously, still an 87 rating. So to me, this is the problem. Alright, so here we have NFL 2K5 on my 360, and I just think it's critical we understand that not only is this game now over 10 years old, but it was also developed for a console 2 generations behind what you just saw with my PS4. Now, again, this game, being older, does not use the same 50 individual attributes, again, some of which cannot be replicated when creating a player, but it does factor in things like size and height into how a player is going to fit into your team and how effective they're going to be on the field. So to me, a player similar to T.Y. Hilton is Steve Smith. And obviously, I hope we can go back and look at T.Y. Hilton's the same way we do look at Steve Smith's. But let's say that Steve Smith didn't have that 5'9" frame, and he didn't have those same stereotypes and didn't fight that same knack all the way through his NFL career. We're going to go into the game here. We're going to edit Steve Smith to have that 6'5" frame that, you know, that Calvin Johnson or that elite receiver that you want on your team is going to have. And this is the only thing we're going to modify. 6'5" Steve Smith. When we back out, you see his rating is now a 94. If you didn't notice before, it was a 92. So you see that increase affecting the game. Now, can it work the other way around? Because the Panthers also had Muhsin Muhammad, a very good receiver for many years, also played with the Bears, and he had the height that Steve Smith did. You see Muhsin Muhammad there, 6'2". Let's go in and edit Moose, and let's make him have that Steve Smith-esque frame. You know, this game doesn't go down to 5'2", but let's take him down to 5'7" and see how that affects how he is going to be in the game, how effective Muhsin Muhammad would be if he didn't have that height on his side. And there you see Moose goes from an 86 down to an 85, simply changing the height. Alright guys, just to wrap up this video, I'm actually going back now and creating T.Y. Hilton number 10. I just wanted to show you guys, like we talked about earlier, when you go over to the ratings here, you don't have the ability to modify some of those things that we discussed earlier. So this is cloned T.Y. Hilton from the game. However, you don't have things like throwing and hit power, finesse moves, block shedding, play recognition, pursuit, coverage. Those things aren't available for you here to modify for whatever reason. And obviously they're not going to be under the player traits we discussed either, nor would they be in the contract info, or would they be in his appearance or player information or equipment. So just to go ahead and save this player right now to the Colts on the active roster that you'll be seeing earlier. Again, some of the things you really can't clone in this game for whatever reason. I'd love to know your opinions on this. I appreciate you checking out the video, and I'll be back in the week with more content.